Hi, first graders. I hope you were able to join me earlier in the week when we thought about penguins joining together and we solved some addition story problems. Today, we're going to think about penguins diving, separating from each other, and it will be a focus on subtraction story problems. So, we're going to get started. If you have a number rack at home, then it would be great to get that out to use it. I'll be using my number rack on the computer just like I did on Monday. If you don't have a number rack, then you can be thinking about what strategies you want to use to solve some subtraction problems. So maybe you're going to be counting down. Maybe you have a piece of paper in front of you where you can use a pencil to draw, whatever you need to help you solve these story problems. So if you look here, we've got some penguins, and some are on the ice ledge, and some are diving into the water. So I'm going to read the story problem, and then we'll think about how we can solve it. It says 12 penguins were standing on the ice. 3 of them dove into the water. How many penguins were left on the ice? So think for just a quiet moment, how do you want to solve this problem? I'm going to go over to my number rack. So I'm going to use my number rack, and I'm going to think about the first number that they told us in the problem, which was that there were 12 penguins on the ice ledge. So I'm going to push 12 beads over. Now I know that each row on my number rack has 10 beads. So I can just push this entire row over without counting. And then I know that 10, 11, 12. Now, I'm going to go back and reread. It says, 3 of them dove into the water. So I'm going to need to move 3 beads back over because those penguins are separating. They're no longer with the other penguins. So 1, 2, 3. Now, how many penguins are left? I can look right here and I can count the number of beads that are left. I know this is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Or maybe you just saw that this was 1 less than 10. First graders, you could also put 12 in your brain and count on. Let's try that. 12, 11, 10, 9. I'm not sure if I said count on or count down. When we're subtracting, we're counting down. When we're adding, we're counting on. So I want to make sure that I'm counting down, which means I'm also going down the number line. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to think about what the equation will look like. So the first number that they told us was that there were 12 penguins. 12. And they told us how many dove into the water. 12 minus 3 is the same as, but they did not tell us how many were left. So that was our mystery number that we were solving for. And now we know that there were 9 left on the ice. So now we're going to go to the next problem. And first we're going to think, what will the equation look like? So you did this with me when you were thinking about the addition problem. Where will that mystery box go? And what numbers are they telling us? And what do we need to solve for? So the first thing I'm going to do is read the problem to you. And then I want you to think about what the equation will look like. If you have a piece of paper, go ahead and write the equation down on the paper. If you don't, think about what it looks like in your head. There were 14 penguins standing on the ice. Some of them dove into the water. Now there are only 8 penguins left on the ice. How many dove into the water? So I want to think the first thing that they're telling me is how many penguins are on the ice. That's right, 14. some dove into the water. Do we know how many dove into the water? No. So that's where our box is going to go. That's the mystery number that we are trying to figure out. 14 minus, now there are only 8 penguins left on the ice. So we know that there are 8 penguins left after that mystery number dove into the water. So our equation is 14 minus is the same as 8. So think for a quiet moment, how can you solve it when the mystery number is in the middle of the equation? What can you do? I'm going to go to my number rack and show you how I like to solve problems like this. I'm going to think about the number 14. So again, I know I need 10 and then 4. 10 plus 4 is the same as 14. So I have 14 here. And now I'm going to subtract 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I could have put 14 in my brain and counted down, which would sound like this. 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. So 14 minus 8 is the same as 6. Now, that is one way to solve for that mystery number in the subtraction sentence. But here's another way. I could put 8 in my brain or move 8 beads over. And then I could count up to 14. So I have my 8 here, and now I can count on to 14. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I also have 6. So it's really what is most comfortable for you. Which strategy do you like best? Do you like starting with 14 and counting down? Or do you like starting with 8 and counting up? No matter what, we're going to get the same number, which is 6. So I can go back to my equation and write 14 minus 6 is the same as 8. All right, one last story problem before I have you go off and do your own problems. All right, some penguins were standing on the ice. 6 of them dove into the water and started swimming around. Now there are only 9 penguins left on the ice. How many penguins were on the ice to start? So I'm going to think about what my equation will look like. Do I know how many penguins were standing on the ice in the beginning? Nope. So that's where my mystery box is going to go. I do know that 6 of them dove into the water. So minus 6 is the same as, and then it tells me now there are only 9 penguins left on the ice. So minus 6 is the same as 9. Think for a quiet moment, how are you going to solve this equation? Now, just like I did in our last problem, I'm actually going to use addition to help me solve for this missing number. So I'm going to think about what is 6 plus 9. That's what's going to tell me how many penguins started on the ice. because I know there are 9 left and I know there are 6 that are swimming in the water. So if I put those two numbers together, then I'll know how many penguins were standing on the ice to begin with. So if I go back to my number rack, then I can look and see, I can make my 6 and I can make my 9 and I can add those together. So I could think about 10. Remember on Monday I said 10 is a friendly number. So if I'm adding 6 plus 9, I'm going to take this 1 and I'm going to move it, kind of pretend move it down there. And that means that I now have 10 here and only 5 here. And I'm going to think 10 plus 5 is the same as 15. I could put 10 in my brain and also just count on 5. So now I know that 15 minus 6 is the same as 9. And I want to check my work for that. So I'm going to put 15 in my brain and I'm going to count down 6. Ready? 15, count with me, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. 15 minus 6 is the same as 9. So for the different problems, you're going to need to use different strategies. Up here, you're counting down. Maybe you're using a number rack. And on the last two, maybe you're choosing to use addition to help you solve the problem. Okay, you're going to now go to your packet and find more diving penguin problems. And you're going to see that just like before, they have actually already done the hard work of creating the equations for you. So you can use the pictures or numbers or words to help you solve the problem. You're going to do that all the way down, and then there's a second page. That's where things will get a little bit trickier. This says solve each of the equations below and write the answers in the empty boxes using numbers, pictures, or words to show how you got the answers. So I'm going to think, how am I solving 20 minus is the same as 10? Then you have another story problem. Some penguins were playing on the ice. Then 10 of them dove into the water and only 8 penguins were left on the ice. How many penguins were on the ice to start? Use numbers, pictures, or words to show how you got the answer. And again, they've created that equation for you. But still, show your teacher how you've solved the problem. And then you have a challenge. Some penguins were playing on the ice. Then 8 of them dove into the water. A few seconds later, 5 of those penguins jumped back onto the ice. Now there are 12 penguins on the ice. How many penguins were on the ice to start? So in this problem, you're going to be working with 3 numbers to figure out how many penguins were on the ice to start. All right, first graders, thanks for following along, and I will see you next week. Friday, you will learn a math game with Teacher Cooper. Bye.